how can we bring out our inner person to be natural in our work environment, and how can we use that in this very, very cross-cultural team to speak a common language, not literally but figuratively. And so servant leadership for us helped us, first of all, to become a more high-performing work team. Secondarily, it helped us to be better individuals. And the amazing thing about this is the spread that this had, the impact that this had throughout Brady Corporation. And when I look at this slide, this is the spread of servant leadership across Asia Pacific. My leaders went back, not under my instruction, but because of how they were moved by this week. It's sort of like throwing a pebble in a pond and the ripples just continue to ripple. These are the types of things that my team did. For instance, our leader of China, we just went through the largest acquisition of the history of the company, where we were integrating American, Chinese, Swedish, and Korean cultures together. His feeling was, the best way that I can bring this team together is through servant leadership. And so what he said, not me, but what he said is, we're going to build schools in China. We don't know anything about building schools, but we figured it out as a team. And I'm really happy to say that we've now built 4 schools. And these are schools that would house 500 students at each school, all over different parts of China. And we continue to try to commit to that, one about every 2 years. In the Manila, where we have a call center, and sometimes people say, oh, you outsource jobs, you're looking for low-cost employment, etc. These people share the same values around servant leadership that we do. And once a month, our call center works on US time, so that's in the evening for them. Once a month, the entire day, they go out as a team and they work at specific orphanages in Manila. And the list goes on and on throughout Asia Pacific. And although we were an Asia Pacific team, the list also goes on in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. And I'm really proud that EJ, Erica Joy Daniels, is with us. She's part of my team in Milwaukee and has been driving a tremendous amount of this. A lot of it right here with MSOE, which is a great collaboration. And so where MSOE has servant leadership programs here that they're tapping into Brady Volunteers for. Dr. Ottman is taking a team of students from China. She teaches a course doing business in China. I think that's the right name, or close. She's taking a group of students every year. This Sunday she'll be leaving again to take her students over to understand the work environment in China. But the awesome thing that makes MSOE differentiated here is that Kelly weaves servant leadership into this, and she takes her students outside of Shanghai and Beijing and Hong Kong, and she takes them to these remote villages where we built the Brady China Hope schools, and she lets the students interact with them and help create their own servant leadership. So anyways, we could talk a long time about this, but thank you for allowing us to share our story of how servant leadership became the common language and the common denominator for us to build a high-performing work team.
Here's contact information. This will be made available to you, or if it's not on the tables, I think this is on the tables. Dr. Daniel Johnson. This is a man that personally is just motivated, attracted to the whole concept of servant leadership. He happens to be president of a Wisconsin Lutheran, and you will find him frequently at these meetings. You'll also find him at the Thursday morning, every third Thursday, this Thursday, at the Ambassador Hotel at 8 o'clock. He's one of the guys that just likes to get in there and really talk about this. Dan?
Thank you, Dick. Good morning, everybody. Can I borrow your table?
Yeah, please.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to speak and talk about a guy that exudes all things servant leadership. Dick, thank you. Wisconsin Lutheran College, we're talking about communities today, right? The impact of servant leadership on our communities. Well, this is our community. How many of you have not been on our campus? I'm just kind of curious. Not been on our campus. Okay. You're officially invited, all of you. We're located on Wisconsin Avenue, right across the street from the Medical College of Wisconsin, Frater Children's. But I want to talk about, if you take a look at community, and you really pan out, our community are our families, right? Our community, you would see churches. Our community, we would see businesses. And so what we want to do today is just briefly talk about the impact of servant leadership, the benefits for community. But if you've been on our campus, you can't escape our campus without going by the most symbolic embodiment of who we are as a school. This is a picture of Jesus washing his disciples' feet. And we have this statue prominently on our campus, and we have a picture of the divine servant in the spring. You can see the flowers blooming. We have pictures, this was, we go by at every graduation. We had graduation at our commencement on our campus on this last Saturday. We march every graduate by there one last time to remind them as they're going out as nurses, as business leaders, as computer scientists and doctors, that this is about serving others that we have pictured here. So it's in the fall. Beautiful colors turning color. But it's with us all the time, even in the dead of winter. But I don't like that picture, so we're going to move on from winter to spring. But this idea of the disciples arguing amongst themselves, who is the greatest? And Jesus basically simply says, if you want to be truly great, it's our message to our students, that's my message to all of us, you want to be truly great in your role as leader, then be the servant of all. Then be the servant of all. And so our message, do you want to be a great leader? Be the servant of all? But there's also a portion, and for us, by the way, for me to talk about servant leadership void of the Christian lens by which I'm called to serve is impossible. But there's a point in God's Word where they asked Jesus, what's the greatest commandments? And he basically said, love the Lord with all your heart, soul, and mind, and love your neighbor. And so the theme, as we talk about servant leadership within the context of our school, love God, love your neighbor. Love God, love your employer. Love God, love your siblings. Love God, love your family. But we want to take a look at this issue of servant leadership. About 2 weeks ago, WLC hosted the Chick-fil-A LeaderCast. I'm not sure if you've heard about that. It's a live event out of Atlanta. We were the Milwaukee host site. And it lines up just some phenomenal speakers. As a matter of fact, it's the first time that we've had it. It's the first time I personally attended. I'm going to encourage all of you to seriously think about coming. It's in May of every year. It'll be on our campus again. I'm not saying it because it's on our campus. I'm saying it because it's outstanding speakers. From John Maxwell to Jack Welch to Condoleezza Rice to Coach K. I mean, it's a very active group. But John Maxwell spoke. And if you've read anything about John Maxwell, he just really concises leadership as one word, and that's influence. And it's in our mission statement that we're here to prepare our students for lives of Christian leadership. And we just assume that every student, because leadership is influence, every one of our students is a leader, and folks, every one of us is a leader too. We're going to influence our neighbor in our cubicle. We're going to influence my wife, my kids, business leaders, but servant leaders influence. And so if you want to take a few nuggets away here today, just think about that. How can you just simply influence? But we also believe that servant leaders work within their strengths. To be a most effective leader needs to understand, what does Dan Johnson bring to the table? We're a Strengths Quest campus. I don't know if anybody familiar with Strengths Quest. It's run out of Gallup. There's a couple back there. We're a Strengths Quest campus. Every student takes Strengths Quest. And what it does is it basically, it's an assessment that then through the lens of research, it's Barna driven, it's exceptional. It'll list what are your top strengths. And the whole point is, the research is pretty powerful. We can do all we can to try to overcome weaknesses, and it's very, very difficult. But when we work within our strengths, great things happen. And I remember when I first became president of WLC, there's a research, Barna research, on what are the qualities, and I see Mary back there from Alverna, what are the qualities of a college and university president? And I was a little intimidated because you think, boy, I hope I'm going to pass this exam, because I'm already here, everybody. But you know what the research shows? There was no thread of this is what makes a great college leader. What makes a great leader is when leaders work within their strengths. And so, as a cabinet, I have a cabinet of 9. And our cabinet takes the Strengths Quest, and it's very revealing, because when you're able to then understand the lens by which your fellow compadres are leading, it makes a big difference. And so what we do for every one of our students, as a freshman, they come through and they are now, right out of the gate, knowing what are their God-given strengths, and how can I, through the lens of vocation, be the best nurse, be the best businessman or woman, and so forth. And there's a great book, it's Leading Through Your Strengths, and it's really based off of the Strengths Quest research. But servant leaders lead and work within their strengths. We have a Christian leadership speaker series at the college that we ran this year, and we had Christine Sprague from Cousins Sub speak to us, but we also, the second speaker was Brian Anderson. And Brian Anderson is the TV voice, TV play-by-play for the Brewers. And he brought a guy, a friend of his, name is Greg Marshall. And when I context this discussion about servant leadership, this idea, the topic and the title that I'm just sharing with you is this idea of assist makers, because he kind of caused me to really think this idea through. And again, if there's one thing you take with you, how can you be an assist maker? Because he said, what Greg was saying, what they do is they have a foundation called the Point, as in point guard, as in assist. And it's a foundation called the Point. And what they do, they put together their passions. Greg is a video maker, a storyteller, and what they do is take stories of great foundations and great companies and great people and inspire others to make a difference for other people. If you've seen it, I think it's Aaron.com. It's Aaron Rodgers stories. That's Greg Marshall. That's his deal. But the point is this. Greg commented, and I really wanted to just share it with you because he quoted this of Brian Anderson. He goes, Brian Anderson is just a tremendous servant leader because this is what he says. He's always aware of who's in the room, always looking for a way to help others score, always take an inventory of what are these people's gifts and how can I help them. And the reason I'm sharing that with you today is because as servant leaders, I think if we think in terms of assist makers, how can I help others? How can I be an assist to other people and make not only other people's lives more enriched, but the organizations as well? And so Brian Anderson on that day and Greg Marshall caused me to kind of think through this lens of servant leadership. Assist makers. As servant leaders, we're assist makers. We create scoring opportunities for other people. This idea that we want others to thrive and achieve potential. It's focusing on people. It's focusing on others' needs before our own. It's all about relationships, and it's empowering and inspiring by building on strengths. And so, as you leave today and you go back to your lot in life, think as servant leadership through the lens of assist maker. How can I help and be a difference maker for other people? And I've read a lot of different things about servant leadership, but I haven't really thought about it in terms of assist maker before, and I really liked that, and I wanted to share that with you. But in the end, is not servant leadership, when it comes right down to it, a heart issue for all of us, right? It's a heart issue, and that the great servant leadership comes from the heart. I want to just share a brief video with you. It's about 3 to 4 minutes long. As you watch this video, I want you to think of, and again, because the theme is the benefits of servant leadership and the impact on community. I want to share a story with Johnny the Bagger. Maybe you've seen it. It's about a 3 to 4 minute. I want you to think, because we're going to be talking at our tables when we're done, what impact did Johnny have on his community? And think of it through the lens of servant leadership. So, hopefully, I can get this to work. impact on Johnny the Bagger? Just give me some thoughts and just yell them.
Simple things matter.
Simple things matter. Warmth.
Honesty.
Honesty.
Genuine.
Genuine, from the heart.
Everyone.
Everyone can make a difference. You know, at first I didn't think I could do anything special. After all, I'm just a bagger. One of the things, I went to the national conference of the leadership, the Green Leaf Leadership Conference a couple years ago. What really struck me was, I mean, I'm the president of a college that has leadership as part of what we do, and so I understand why I'm there. But what really struck me is just a worker at AT&T who works in the kiosk and took 3 days off of work to be there. Or the other stories of that, the people that just kind of gave up of their time. And the reason I say that is because all of us, you may not be the president, but we all influence, right? And so my encouragement for us today, the bigger theme of the day is the benefits of servant leadership. You know, I think there's always the issue of, you know, when you are serving others, we sometimes think that I'm really helping you out, but in truth, what a joy, right? Back. The gift and joy of serving. And so I just wanted to remind you of your roles. And just think about what your roles might be. As you leave here today, how can you make a difference? How can you be an assist maker and impact others around you? And then I just leave with you this image. Want to be a great servant, want to be a great leader. Love God, love people. Love the people that are in your midst. And I appreciate the opportunity to speak here. Dick, I'll turn it back over.
Jim Curlin. Jim is a CEO. I hope Jim shares just a little bit about why he ended up with the job he ended up with, because it's a lovely story. Jim is a frequent participant in this. He's a frequent Thursday morning participant at the Ambassador Hotel, and I just look forward to what he has to say.
All right, I want everybody to like me. Everybody say, hi, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
And I'm a really terrible speaker, so I have a gift. I'm going to bribe you. So pass these on if you would. Yeah, it's that all the things. So what I have is a servant leader bracelet for you. So you can wear it as a constant. This is what it looks like. It says servant leader on it. I find I have to remind myself, because this doesn't come naturally to me, okay? And I'll get back into that in just a little bit, but maybe I'll take a little different tack to this, maybe come at it from an application standpoint a little bit. So leadership is a complicated topic, right? And we make a lot of choices in life and in business. But to me, leadership, or servant leadership, is really a principle for long-term success. This is not a short-term concept, right? Bully-style management is much more effective in the short term. And sometimes you got to use it, right? We all have to make choices about when it's time to really take charge and lead, and when it's time to serve and look at long-term success. But this definitely takes time, and it's something you have to believe in. And for me, it's something I have to keep coming back to. I have to keep reminding myself, and that's what the bracelet's about. So, measuring success in business is about, this is the classic stuff, right? Measuring financial growth and productivity and all these things we measure. And this is important, but the question is that all there is? This stuff we can measure, is that what it's all about? And you know, we're here to talk about, no, it's about investing in people, that the other stuff comes along for the ride. If we really believe in the concept of investing in people, the numbers will follow. So defining leadership, it's about the ability to take people where they won't by themselves, right? Helping them, encouraging them to go there. Dick and I love this slide because we're both sailors. What's the main objective of a leader? To serve others. That's our principle, our basic principle, right? And can you think of a single example of a dictator that succeeded in the long run, right? Do we follow dictators? Well, yeah, in the short run, right, if they threaten us, in the short run. But in the long run, dictators never succeed, bullies never succeed in the long run, right? We follow the people that we want to follow. So what is a servant leader? It's someone who can lift you up and help you be the best you can be. It's not a focus on self, it's a focus on others. It's a focus on helping them be the best they can be. And it's a double-edged sword, meaning it's, you know, I struggled with it. When I was first introduced to it, a friend of mine gave me a book and said, here, read this. I think you'd like this. And I read the cover and I said, servant leadership, man, that sounds kind of squishy, right? It sounds wimpy, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound wimpy? To me it does. And so I was like, wow, I don't think I'm gonna like this. But it isn't wimpy. It's not just about, you know, letting people do whatever they want to do. It's also about challenging people. And I'll share with you an analogy that was shared with me, I don't know, 15 years ago, something like that, 20 years ago, that I think has helped me to, you know, sort of think about this challenging part in a servant leadership sort of way.
So, take this off.
So take off your bracelet and just hold it up between your two fingers like this and put a little bit of tension on it. All right, this finger is you and this finger is your people.